Welcome to a new video on the NEGAYO channel. This time we have to talk a little more about this new universe created by Darkseid. The Absolute Universe, where versions of the heroes we already know are now presented with new designs, origins, but above all with greater difficulties in their path if they want to continue fighting so it is correct. Don't forget to leave your like and comment to let me know if you're interested, that we continue talking about each story that is being published about the Absolute Universe. From the start, this new Bruce Wayne's life diverges from the norm when it's revealed that his father, Thomas, was an elementary school teacher. The loss that motivates the Dark Knight to fight criminals is also somewhat different from what we already know in traditional universes, but we will delve into that topic later. Because we know that Bruce Wayne's family, at least in much of the multiverse, goes beyond just Thomas and Martha. And by this, I mean that the butler, Alfred Pennyworth, is a key character within his mythology. In this Absolute Universe, he doesn't fall behind. This time, we'll see him as an antagonist and a formidable rival for the Vigilante.
Hello again, Gotham. It's been a long time. So, who are you these days? Who have you become while I was away? You're prettier, I admit, taller, brighter, but deep down something is off.
Alfred stopped at an old acquaintance's place to buy the only decent tea sold in the city. The seller warned him not to leave his motorcycle visible to avoid trouble. But Pennyworth didn't pay much attention to these words and went to his apartment. This new version of Alfred is an active special agent who has returned to the city for a mission. The first thing he does when he enters his room is to prepare tea and try to call his daughter Julia. She doesn't answer, and therefore Pennyworth must leave a message. It's been a long time since they last met. He's unsure if his daughter still lives in the city. But anyway, he lets her know that he will be around for a few days and also asks for the opportunity to meet soon. Alfred sighs, disappointed at not being able to speak with Julia, but work calls and he quickly establishes a secure connection for more mission details.
In the last 3 months, a gang known as the Party Animals have been sowing chaos, massacring random citizens, increasing the murder rate by 700%. Almost without assistance, they set a nursery ablaze yesterday and danced as 32 perished in the fire. I read the file, but can I ask why I was pulled out of Singapore? I was very close to the target. I had been chasing him for 5 years. You need it here? And frankly, no, don't ask. Manners gathers information about these party animals, but don't get involved. Remember, there may be another player in town also after the ban, though we haven't seen him up close. If he gets too close, do you have permission to attack him? Charming. We're sending coordinates to your motorcycle. As we speak, places to explore potential targets. Enjoy the tea, goodbye.
Alfred turned off the computer, grabbed a weapon, and left the apartment only to discover his motorcycle was stolen. And then he remembered how much he hated this damn city. The next day, at a place called Croc's Gym, we finally get to meet Bruce Wayne, a truly huge guy, a whole bag of muscles. While training, he can't help but remember that tragic day when he lost his father. Or could it be that he avoids forgetting it in order to continue his crusade? When Bruce was just a child, during a class visit to the zoo guided by Thomas, they both talked about a movie they would watch that night as a family. Just as Professor Wayne realized something strange was happening, an armed man was shooting in public, killing anyone in his path. Professor Wayne quickly led his students to safety, and despite Bruce's cries, Thomas didn't stay with them. Mr. Wayne was murdered that day, and his last words were for his son. He told him that no matter what he heard, he should not open that door. Bruce's brute strength is driven through these memories, even going so far as to break the punching bag. Waylon Jones, the owner, was no longer surprised by Bruce's disaster, so he simply charged for the damages. Which, by the way, in case you hadn't noticed, this guy is who we traditionally know as Killer Croc in other universes. I find it curious that this version of the character has a fascination with reptiles. Something else I found interesting in this universe is that many of Batman's traditional enemies seem to not exist here. Before Bruce leaves the gym, Jones asks him if he will come tonight with friends to play poker. Waylon mentions that everyone will be there, Edward Harvey Oswald, and he has even tried to get in touch with Selina. And among the photos hung on a wall of the building, you can see that they have all been friends since they were little. Beyond the docks, Black Mask was in a meeting with the two biggest mobsters in Gotham, Carmine Falcone and Salvatore Maroni. They were here to warn Roman about his recent actions in the city. The senseless and violent crimes committed by the party animals seemed to be too much even for them. So they ordered Roman to leave Gotham by dawn, or else they would have to kill him. It's worth mentioning that the atmosphere in this place was a bit strange. In addition to Carmine, Salvatore, and Roman, there were apparently only 3 other people at this party. We're talking about a disc jockey with music blaring, a woman who is apparently Roman's wife or lover, and also a child. That's right, everyone was wearing those black masks. The mobsters were upset because Roman was apparently connected with someone globally influential. And it's that the reach, influence, and number of criminals that were within the Party Animals network was something inexplicable. The Falcone and Maroni families had run organized crime in Gotham for 150 years, sometimes fighting each other to be the dominant force in the city. But did they agree that Roman had abruptly arrived to destroy everything they had built? They said he was not respecting history. The woman suggested to Black Mask to show the guests his mask collection, to which he replied that it was a good idea. The guests were not surprised at all until Roman began to explain that these masks were not just anything, they were death masks. He had in his possession the faces of Socrates, Martin Luther, George Washington, Black Mask. He mentioned that he did not intend to disrespect history, but quite the opposite. He had invited Falcone and Salvatore to celebrate that history, to celebrate its end. Among the masks was also the face of Maroni's brother and Carmine's cousin. They come from Astonishment. Both mobsters were killed that night by Roman's son to be added to the collection. Meanwhile, the leader of the party animals, along with his wife, was celebrating this event with the music loud. The night was approaching and the Gotham's watchman was already lurking from the top of a building. The news was announcing senseless and endless crimes, more deaths every day. Innocent people suffering, psychopaths who enjoyed violence, who exercised it without the police being able to do anything to stop it. And everyone wondered, who are these monsters? Who are the party animals? Mayor Jim Gordon announced an emergency assembly to discuss the steps to take against the reign of terror of the party animals. The citizens hoped that this would serve for the future of the city, but Batman knew that his targets would not miss the opportunity to attack City Hall. Chaos would break out tonight. The crowd present at the assembly was furious. Complaints were pouring in from all sides. People were tired of living in fear, they were tired of not having solutions, of leaving home and not knowing if they would stay alive until the end of the day.
Even from out here I can feel it, that mix of fear and anger, the explosive tremor in the air before something bad happens. And then I see them, monkey skulls and cheap fancy clothes, heavily armed, laughing and happily dazed. This is going to be bad.
Pennyworth reported movement outside the assembly, warned of possible massive casualties of innocents, and asked for permission to intervene if necessary, but his request was denied. Mayor Gordon continued trying to calm the attendees. He promised that the police were working around the clock to stop the party animals, but people continued to protest, reminding him that just 2 hours ago the criminals had set a police station on fire. Like the rest, the police were also defenseless and refused to admit it. Only one woman stood up and with a firm voice made people see who the criminals were looking for. This getting the population to fight amongst themselves to be scared. She told everyone that Jim Gordon had served the city honorably for many years. She trusted him. But stopping crime once and for all didn't just depend on one person. That was the job of all of Gotham. Before continuing with the speech, a grenade was detonated inside the building. 3 armed individuals entered the premises, shooting directly at the mayor. Barbara was worried seeing her father fall, and all he could do was ask her to get all the civilians out of the place. Before they started shooting at the rest of the people, the attackers were caught from behind as the doors were
abruptly closed.
The police didn't understand what happened. Barbara approached the door, even knowing there were dozens of criminals outside. He was surprised to find himself face to face with the Bat. No matter what you hear, do not open this door. Pennyworth continued watching from the heights. He reported to his superiors that Batman had arrived at the conflict zone and received orders to intervene in case his information-gathering mission was compromised. The criminals immediately fired as soon as they saw the Bat hanging from the ceiling. The bullets didn't seem to affect him in the slightest, and a small smoke bomb hitting the ground announced the vigilantes' entrance into action. The attackers were thrown into the air, crashing into windows, into street lamps. They were brutally beaten, and just like that, they were left lying on the ground. More Party Animals members arrived quickly, intending to kill Batman. Pennyworth remained vigilant and carefully watched every move of the Bat.
You're fast, sure, above all focused. You've been waiting for this, haven't you? What were you doing? You're also trained in martial arts, mixed, your own blend of Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But you're a striker above all else. Brutal but precise. You're putting on quite a show. A stomped leg so that everything hangs in the crunch. An arm broken over the knee. Sending a message.
Are you enjoying it too?
And the knives? Wow, so bloody, but you barely miss any artery. There are no fatalities at all, not a single one. So an idealist?
Damn. Batman had already defeated many of these criminals, but those who remained standing refused to leave. One of them carried a huge butcher's knife. He ordered the Bat to get out of his way, or else he would kill him without a problem. Unintimidated, Batman removed the Bat symbol from his chest with pliers. He advanced towards his opponent, and in a quick and precise movement, the enemy's hand flew through the air, still holding the knife. Sure.
I've heard they can reattach them. There's a hospital 3 blocks south from here, or is it east? Suddenly, I can't remember, but I would hurry. To the rest of you, I'll give you the chance to get the fuck out of my way. Well done, but if you were a true tactician, you would have set a trap for them.
Given the Superior's poor visibility of the area, they ordered Alfred to attack the other player. The agent went down to the conflict zone, finding his target amidst the smoke.
That's the sound of a C-30 automatic shotgun, and 4 Sun. There are only 3 of them in the world. Could I blow your brains all over this sidewalk before you blink?
Sounds dangerous. Batman left the place taking with him Alfred's precious shotgun.
The following day, the sole topic of conversation is the same. Who is Batman? So, who are you really, Bruce Wayne? You hide your trail well, but that's easy when you're nobody, just an average guy. 24 years old, your mother is a social worker, your father a teacher. You grew up in the alley of crime, great friends in low places, a tight-knit group. You're smart, you excel in school, your parents have you tested, and you score near genius level. Then, in 5th grade, you win a student engineering contest, designing a portable, collapsible bridge to deliver aid to areas devastated by wars and natural disasters. The design is origami style, based on the anatomy of a bat's wing. And the prize is a trophy and a trip for your entire class to the Gotham Zoo, where it all begins. After that, you lose yourself for a while, fury, rage against the world, but then you find yourself again, something inspires you, you get up, go back to studying and get a scholarship to the best university in the state. But when you get there, you injure yourself in the first week, a soft tissue tear. I've seen the x-rays, of course, and I've been in charge of men who have faked injuries to evade duty. And I suspect that's exactly what you did. But why? You were good enough to be a star, even to go professional. Were you saving your body for yesterday's showdown? For all this, whatever you've built? You study applied mechanics, chemistry, criminal psychology, military theory, history, sociocultural. All to prepare yourself and then go back home. You settle in Gotham and work on the power grid, then in the water department, then sanitation, and then you intern at City Hall, study public policy, learn about your city, the body, the brain, every damn part of Gotham until you finally close the circle. Like an engineer, creating, building, even fixing what you break, repairing the stairs you blew up. Last night, did you build something here, Bruce? Now I see it and it's truly impressive, but I've taken down men like you before in cities, in jungles, in deserts, all over the world. Because they're just crusaders, and crusaders always have a weakness. And yours is sitting right there.
Bruce Wayne had agreed to meet with his mother today. Martha asked him if he was okay after the attack on City Hall. But for her biggest regret was that the party animals had interrupted her during her speech.
Could I kill you right here in front of her?
It would be easy, it's what I should do, but you're just a fucking kid.
Alfred received a message from his daughter, telling him to never contact her again, and at night he continued following the watchman. Bruce was on top of a building reviewing his evidence, recordings about what he found out during his confrontation with the criminals at the assembly. However, he managed to perceive something strange.
Very smart, buddy. Hidden at the top of these buildings, all the upper floors are owned by corporations and oligarchs who never use them. Hollow investments. You know this, of course, because you worked on them, but I'm going to shut you down right now. I thought you were better than this, son. They corner you and all those ideals go out the window. Give me the gun, kid. You're not a murderer. And then some things happen very quickly. First, I realized that the little son of a bitch modified my beautiful shotgun to make it non-lethal. He ruined it. Second, I hear that same weapon fall beside me as if he's saying, keep it. Third, I hear this roar, the roar of my damn bike. Fourth, I hear his voice telling me, you're not the only one who keeps going, people. And finally, I hear the sound of glass breaking as he goes out the window, 300 meters high. Where the hell is he going to land? And I think maybe you're not so bad these days, Gotham.
And this is how we come to the end of this story, at least for now. And the truth is, there have been nothing but extremely positive comments about this absolute universe. Hopefully this universe endures and isn't abandoned like other alternate universes Detective Comics has created, with this atmosphere that tries to mix some freshness and new origins for a younger audience. It already happened with the New 52, which was a stage not very loved to say the least by the fans. In the end, this Superman was so bad they had to kill him. It also happened with the Earth universe, one that they simply left in oblivion and even in animation. It also happened with a universe that still hurts me to this day, the one of gods and monsters. I must tell you that I did like this new concept of Batman, although my favorite reinvention remains that of Wonder Woman. A video will soon arrive for her as well, just like for Superman. But as for the Bat story, they sure add elements that will be very interesting to see how they develop. It's clear that Alfred both hates and respects what the Bat has achieved in the city. And in case there's a second confrontation, he will now be much more careful knowing that Batman knows every corner of Gotham. During the epilogue, we also have some extra information about Pennyworth's work as an agent. And the person he was following before being moved to Gotham is a multi-millionaire subject whose name no one knows. Sometimes they call him Jack, sometimes Arthur, but everyone nicknames him Joker because he's a somewhat strange individual who never laughs at anything. There isn't much information about him in this first issue, but Alfred does mention that this guy trained with Henry Ducard in the League of Assassins. If you don't recognize this name, he is basically a killer detective who at some point in the traditional story became Bruce Wayne's mentor. Although at that time in the comics, this character had nothing to do with the League of Assassins. That name was also used by Ra's al Ghul in Batman Begins to hide his identity. If you like this video, let me know your opinion on what you think of this new absolute universe and tell me if you would like us to follow these stories more closely, with news and analysis of the following numbers. For now, I have nothing more to say. Thank you for stopping by. I'm Malix from the NEGAYO channel. See you later.